Hey besties, welcome back to another episode of Sense of the Podcast. My name is Anna. It's another beautiful day, and your girl, as always, is back again. Those of you listening to me for the first time, this is Uncensored with Anna, and today I have a guest with me. Okay, as you guys already know, I am interviewing contestants in the Space of Humanity Nigeria pageant, and today I have with me Simi Pam, who is going to be talking to us about supported inclusion, innovative approaches, and challenges in educating children with disabilities. Welcome to the episode, Simi. It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So one thing I like to do is ask my guests to introduce themselves because you better hear from the horse's mouth. It is always better to hear from the horse's mouth. So tell us about Simi briefly though. Who is Simi?
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Simi Pam. I'm a visionary entrepreneur with a heart of innovation, born and raised in Plateau State, Nigeria. I'm a professional commercial and a fashion model. I am optimistic, I am determined, I'm goal oriented, and I'm a spokesperson for positive change. I am passionate about modeling and also passionate about catching them young. I believe every young child should grow up being bold, being courageous, knowing that the modeling agency is a place where you showcase your beauty, your talent, and then you do not have to compromise. And I am also passionate about supporting humanitarian aid. Thank you so much.
What an introduction. Okay, girl. Okay, I like that. So you're from Plateau State.
Yeah, I'm from Plateau State.
Yeah, the name, I
Yeah,
can tell. Okay, lovely to meet you once again, Simi.
thank you.
One question I like to ask pageant girls is, why? There are so many pageant organizations in Nigeria right now. Why
Yeah.
Miss Face Community?
Well, for me, just like I said, one of my passion is supporting humanitarian aid, and I chose Miss Face of Humanity because it's all about giving out to the society. What do you have to offer? What can you do for the people in your society? How can you impact lives? So this is something I have been doing. It is not my first time. My birthdays, I sometimes celebrate my birthdays with orphans. Sometimes I just give out some of my clothing to people who are in need. So I feel this is a platform that makes you really show that you really care about people. So that's the reason why I actually chose Miss Face of Humanity Nigeria.
Okay, interesting. And I think you in a way sort of answered the next question I would have asked you, which is, what are you already doing before, entering for the
Yeah,
content? But I think you already explained that by, telling me that you, on your birthdays, do things, give out your clothing. And
and
it doesn't necessarily have to be like grand. Just the fact that you're able to know, okay, people need to wear clothes that don't have clothes. People, my birthdays, let me celebrate it with this set of people because I feel like, it's important. It's a good
yeah,
thing. So well done. Well done.
thank you
Now,
so
coming
much.
to the topic, what does, what do you say inclusion means to you in the context of education for children with disabilities?
Okay, for me, inclusion is a mindset that embraces, values and differences in people and also families. It's a way of making people have this sense of belonging. Okay, I am a disabled person, but I also feel I'm part of the, society. I'm loved the way I am. It is also a way to uphold civil rights, and eliminate the me versus the them, mentality. People have this mentality that they are disabled people, so I shouldn't mingle with them and all that. So I feel anybody who has an inclusive mindset sees diversity, especially to people with disabilities, as an asset. They should see it like an asset. And also, I believe that if you also have an inclusive mindset, you should see differences as something to be celebrated and something to be respected. So that's inclusion for me.
Interesting. Do you
Yeah,
think that, in your own opinion now, do you
yeah,
think our society, which is Nigeria, which is where we're from,
yeah.
because whenever I talk about things, I like to refer to Nigeria because that's where I'm from. I've experienced things there, so I can speak on it, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you think
Yeah.
Nigeria is an inclusive society for people living with disabilities?
For me, if I'm to rate it, I would say it's kind of a 40/60. So people actually,
40-60.
yeah, kind
I
of.
think I think it's way lesser than that, but let me hear why you think it's 46.
Yeah, because I have been able to go to, disability communities. Like I have one very close to me, and I've seen how people are not really showing any care or attention to these people. In fact, I have come across a child who have not been showing, people have not shown any sign of empathy, any sign of support, any sign of care. She's just there, and having a little chit chat with them and the family. I saw that we have to do, there's a lot of things we have to do for these people. So I would say that Nigeria is doing very poorly when it comes to people with disabilities.
Okay, do you still think it is 40-60? Because I think it is 10-90, 90-10. And from what you said, I think it further, proves me right that it is 90-10. The
Well,
ratio
I
is not good.
can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think? What do you think are the key principles for inclusive education, and why are they important?
Well, for me, I think some of the innovative approaches we can take is one is to, you know, provide individualized support and accommodation. Just like I said, a lot of them do not even have homes. A lot of them don't have places to stay. They are just on the streets. A lot of them need support, accommodation, and all that. I think we also need to raise awareness on we need to raise awareness and challenge stigma. A lot of them are going through a lot. So if we don't create awareness to tell a lot of people that okay, we have this special kind of people in the society that need us, then a lot of people will just be there. And then we need to foster a culture of acceptance and empathy. Just like I said, we need to really show these people that they should have this sense of belonging. And then also we need to do collaborations and partnership, especially with disability communities and also with advocacy groups, where we talk about these people, we let them feel among. So I hope that answers it though.
So I think you did. But imagine now, say for instance, I'm putting it in the universe on your behalf. You're Miss Face of Humanity, and you want to advise schools in Nigeria um, on how to better cater to people or students or children with disabilities. What would you say?
I would say, first of all, like I said, we need to provide for them. We need to lecture them, educate them more about how they should feel accepted, and how we can all partner with communities and disabled groups to in order to sorry, I'm trying to get my words together right now.
It's fine. It's fine. No problem. No pressure. It's fine.
Yeah, so basically they should just create awareness, let people know, right?
Okay.
That
I understand the power of awareness, right? We cannot underestimate the power of awareness because
yeah.
I personally think that when people know, when the purpose of something is known, abuse is, if the purpose of something is unknown, you can abuse it, right? So
Yeah.
awareness helps us to understand and to be aware. Okay, this thing exists. This is how we can better navigate it. But
Mm-hmm.
it cannot only make people aware. People are aware that there are people with disabilities in our society.
Yes.
Schools are aware that there are people with disabilities in schools. In what other ways do you think that schools can best prepare or cater to people with disabilities? Because it's a very serious problem. It feels as though, like I said, like this topic already states, there's no inclusion, right? It feels as though schools don't just, you don't cater to people that have special needs. There's no plan. So, like, you are Miss Face of Humanity now. You're Miss Face of Humanity Nigeria right now. we're speaking about humanity, which also involves people, having empathy towards people who you know have challenges, right? How would you advise schools to better cater to? What strategies would you give to schools in ways that they can better cater to people with disabilities?
Okay. First of all, I think we have limited resources. I feel so we should have enough staffs, enough educators who can actually um, teach these people more, and we should have more adaptive technologies. We have limited resource technologies that we use in reaching out or to educate these people more. So we need to have more adaptive technologies. We need to have sufficient staffs, and we also need to use the communication, techniques, which is by using the Braille, you know, this sort of textbooks that they usually use for blind people. We need to adapt those kind of things that they use in, more advanced countries, and textbooks that, you know, um, that also helps in teaching, especially people who are blind, how to use how to read even when you cannot really see. And when making public announcements on healthcare, we need to use sign languages, in order to communicate well with these people. So I think these are some of the things that we can actually use in when we are if I'm to advise people who are educating disabled people.
Okay, interesting. Do you think there are current policies and legislation in supporting inclusive education for children with disabilities? If there are,
Yes.
how effective are they?
You have the UNICEF, right? You have, of course, the government too. Now, the UNICEF focuses on child rights. They also work on inclusive education. They also provide, humanitarian aid. They
Mm.
also, what did they do? Advocate for policy change. So UNICEF also, you know, does that. And we also have, like I said, the policymakers, which are the government officials and also the legislators, who also help in, um, promoting policy, policy, policy change or whatever. Yeah.
And you know why I'm laughing though? Do you know why I'm laughing?
Right.
Because you said the government help in, promoting policies. I was going to ask you, do you think they actually do that? Because I doubt their policies,
The truth,
for supporting inclusive education for children with disabilities in Nigeria. If there are, please share with me what policies.
the truth is, we have them, but they are not doing the work.
So, what are the policies, if there are? If you know any, if you don't know, it's fine. But what are the policies? No,
It's actually
I want
funny.
to know. Because honestly, I think my perception of the government in Nigeria is so terrible that I struggle to believe that they take things like this seriously, or they're really into, you know,
Yeah.
issues like this. So that's what I'm asking. Like, if there are policies, if you know any, please share with me because I really want to know. Maybe it will change my perception of the government. Who knows?
Please-
But yeah, I'm
Okay, please,
listening.
please keep.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
But see, yeah. Unfortunately, I've not been able to, change my perception about the government on this, in this regard. But it's fine. It's fine. So, what do you think the future of inclusive education looks like to you, in with whatever it is that is happening right now? What do you think the future of inclusive education looks like, especially for children with disabilities?
For me, if the right things are not being done now, I don't think the future will be bright. I
Mm,
think if only we have a lot of people who are advocating for these people, who are actually talking, who are making sense, who are going, who are making podcasts, who are going to the social media, and who are constantly telling people that there are people like this, then that is when we will have a brighter future for these people. But if we do not have people who are putting their hands together to move this, then I feel the future for them is not really going to be bright. But that's why I am standing in their gap, sort of, to tell people that there are people like this who we should come out to speak for.
Interesting. I think at this point we need to stop talking. To be honest, I think we need to stop talking. We need to start doing. And I
Yeah.
get where you're coming from, right? Because
Yes.
why I said in this particular situation we need to stop talking is because there is nobody on the surface of this earth that will tell me they don't know there are people with disabilities.
Yes. Yes. Sure.
In Nigeria,
I agree.
there's no one that will tell me that they don't know that we don't have adequate infrastructures or what have you to cater to
Mm,
children who have disabilities in Nigeria. So in this regard, I think we need to stop talking. We now need to start doing because there's
okay.
no time to talk anymore. People know that these people are they exist. People know that we don't have infrastructures to cater to them. So
Mm.
yeah, we need to start going out there and doing and not there's no awareness to create anymore. They are aware. People are aware. Okay, yeah. So, so what steps do you think should be taken to ensure continuous improvement in the inclusion of children with disabilities in education?
Okay, for me, steps that should be taken are, we need to have more educators and teachers, right? Yeah, we need to also reach out to school administrators, right? We need to also involve parents and caregivers,
Mm.
right, in this. And we need to leverage on the social media, because I mean, that is the selling point, right? One of the selling points. And then we also need to reach out to the general public, disability communities, advocacy groups, right? And also therapists, counselors, school counselors and therapists, and just like I said, the UNICEF. They are very
Okay.
important too. Yeah, so I hope
Okay.
that
So you said
answers.
social media is a selling point. By selling point, what do you mean?
I mean, in in whatever you're doing, I mean, these days you need the social media, you need influencers, you need to reach out to people to know. I mean, you never can tell who is actually out there, who is listening to what you're saying, and you never can tell who wants to support. So the social media helps to bring partners, help to bring supporters, help to bring people who want to join in your campaign. So it's really the best place you can actually reach out. Not really the best, though we have communities where you can reach out to, but I mean, it's also one of the best places to reach out to people, and also disabled people and people that you need to support you too.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So, in your own opinion, how do you think policymakers can ensure that inclusion is not just a box ticking exercise, but a meaningful part of the educational system? So it's not just, oh, inclusion, check, but we want to make it a meaningful part of our educational system, especially still on the topic of children with disabilities.
Sorry, come again with your question, please.
So I said, in your own opinion, how do you think policymakers can ensure that inclusion is not just a box ticking exercise, but a meaningful part of the educational system? So it's not just, oh, inclusion, check, but at least it is meaningful, especially to children with disabilities.
Like I said, we need adaptive technologies. And then we also need to provide humanitarian aids for these children. You
Mm.
know, when someone is not really comfortable wherever he is, he can't really function well. They need food to eat, they need technology, they need to expect, like I said, for the blind people, they need textbooks, they need brailles, they need sign languages, they need good facilities that can make them function well. So without all those things, then I think nothing really good can happen. So those are kind of the things they should actually do.
Okay. Now, like I earlier said, I'm putting it in the universe for
Yeah.
you. You are the face of humanity, Nigeria, 2024.
Okay.
Advise the government that, okay, let me not say the government. That's like a broad, you know, advise your state government on inclusion for children or adults with disabilities. How do you think, or how would you advise them to tackle the issue of inclusion for children or adults with disabilities?
Okay. If I'm to advise the government, um, what they should do, first of all, is, like I said before, provide adequate adaptive technologies for these people. And also, you need to provide accommodation and support them. That cannot be overemphasized. They need the support. They need um, you know we need to also collaborate with all of those agencies. Like, we need to collaborate with advocacy group. They need to also collaborate with disability communities, because if they do not collaborate with disability communities, I don't think they can actually reach out to the number of people they want to reach out to. Because in those communities, you find their heads, their leaders, and those, sometimes they say someone cannot actually feel what you are saying to him when you are not in the person's shoes. So if you do not collaborate with those people in the disabled communities, like their heads, like their leaders, then I don't think you can actually really touch the lives of those other people who are also disabled. Because when they see that their people or their leaders are actually in this, and they are fit, and they are actually telling them, okay, this is what they want to do for us, and this is how they want to go about it, I think they will give a more listening ears. So these are some of the ways the government should actually tackle this issue.
Okay, you've mentioned adaptive technology so much in this conversation. What are examples of adaptive technology that you would advise the government to?
Okay, I also mentioned Braille. That's the kind of textbooks that they should be using, and also their um what do you call them, this kind of machines or wheelchairs for disabled people. They can also bring them into play, and just a whole lot of them.
Okay. And you
Yeah.
also mentioned advocacy groups. So for someone that's listening to you that is not sure, oh, advocacy groups, what advocacy groups do you know that you can say? For instance, now you're speaking to the government, you're advising your state government, and they ask you like, okay, you mentioned advocacy groups. What advocacy groups can you tell us about?
For me, I am already an advocate for them. So
Okay.
yeah, so I am one, right? And we have okay, there's also one close to me, that's someone that I know that we actually started together with. And so it's also someone who advocates strongly for people with disabilities. In fact, is an educator for people with disabilities. So there are a whole lot of them. In fact, even when you go to their schools, you find out that there's people who are actually advocates for these people.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Any last words for
Yes.
individual?
Yeah, I think
Individuals.
I think by embracing, diversity, and also improving sorry by embracing diversity and improving inclusivity, I think we can create an inclusive environment that children with disabilities can thrive in education. Thank you very much. So I believe we should join hands. If you are out there listening to me, we should join hands, and please do not in any way make these people feel pity or make them feel like they cannot do it. Please show them you love them, show them you care for them, show them that they are enough and they can thrive. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Thank
your
you. Your smile is so contagious, by the way. Your smile is so
God.
contagious. Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank you
so
for being here. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And I wish you all the best on your journey to becoming Miss Face of Humanity Nigeria 2024.
Thank you
I
so
wish you
much.
all the best. And yeah, so guys, you've heard it. Um, as I've said during the course of all these interviews, is we need to do our best as individuals in our spaces. It's important that as a collective society, we do
Yeah.
better and treat people with disabilities not as though they're unable to do things for themselves, but because just show them love and include them in the things that we need to we do in
Uh-huh.
society, not to make
Yeah.
them feel left out, like you've heard from my guests today. So
Yeah.
that's all I have for you guys today. Until I come your way again, I remain Ene, and this is Answers with Ene. Bye, guys, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank
Bye.
you. Ciao.